All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful, I don't even know what day it is, guys, and I don't even care. Blessings to everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua, the Messiah. Even if you are not religious, I still pray you and your family are super blessed and that God blesses each and every person watching and listening to this stream in Jesus' name. Guys, the Bitcoin price, are we about to have a massive breakdown? Are we about to lose major support and come down very, very low? Oh my goodness, I'm scared. As the title of the video says, emergency short trade video, $200,000 short on Bitcoin. Guys, it's not even clickbait. I am short on Bitcoin right now. Even though you see a juicy long trade opened up, I'm in a $200,000 short trade, up $31,000 in profits, guys. Pretty dang juicy. All right, we're going to be talking about what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin as we are grinding down to this support. Things are getting scary. Jerome Powell is going to speak in 10 minutes. Sheesh. Can things get more volatile? Can things get more crazy and sensational? They can. Just wait and make sure to like the stream, because if we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we are going to be giving away $1,000. All right, $1,000. Guys, look, it's crazy, man. I've been scalping Bitcoin, all right? Bitcoin right now, first of all, this is the level that we've been looking to long in the Casper Crew VIP Discord. When we put in the low on Saturday, this is the area that we're looking to long, right in this zone. I've taken a few scalps, all right? As you can see, I'm up on the day, $1,800, all right? Over here as well. This is not accurate because the day changes now, so this isn't true. But I was up a couple grand as well from a different scalping account here, right? We've taken some trades, all right? We've taken some trades, some long trades here that have gotten us some profits in this zone, all right? Gotten us some profits in this zone, all right? So, all this to say, Bitcoin is coming down to the wire. Right now, we're getting a little bit of a bounce, and we're coming up to a local golden pocket 618. I do have to say this, guys. If we can reclaim this zone right here, then potentially, we could see Bitcoin get a little bit higher today. Maybe even back up toward the $63,700 zone. All right. And we're going to be getting into the juicy price action. Huge shout out to the sponsors of the channel. First of all, Cipher. Shout out to Cipher. Shout out to CryptoFace. Every single day, repping the Cipher tank top, guys. Got to wear the tank top so the chest cleavage shows, you know. And a huge shout out to ZOOMEX, one of the exchanges I'm trading on right now. All right, ZOOMEX. Link in the description. Also, a huge shout out to MEXC. Best deal on fees, man. 0% limit order, 0.01% taker order, plus a major shout out to BingX. All right, another exchange I'm trading on as well, where you can get up to 2,600. What am I even talking about? You can get money if you sign up to ZOOMEX. All right, you can get money on ZOOMEX. Okay. Also, a huge shout out to the Casper Crew VIP Discord, where we've been giving the juiciest trade setups all along this entire area here. All right. If you want to join the community, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. Guys, Bitcoin right now, what is happening? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's discuss this, guys, because I have to be honest, this is the juiciest trade scalp that I've been in all day, right? I've been scalping this little zone here, all right? Been taking these stupid little longs here, in and out trades, you know, as you can see here. These in and out trades, I've taken a few of them, 3, 4, 5, I think, today, all right? But we're going to be talking about, first of all, we need to understand Bitcoin is at an important area of support. And we do also need to understand that in just half an hour, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking, so we can be prepared for some volatility. Huge shout out to my wife, BigButts28, because I made her a bowl of oatmeal this morning, and she says it's amazing. And there's nothing better to a man's heart than when his wife says that the bowl of oatmeal is amazing. All right, let's see. So yeah, 1:15, Jerome Powell is going to speak. Let's pop on over to forexfactory.com. All right, and check it out. Forexfactory.com. Fed Chair Powell is going to speak, and here's what he's going to talk about, right? He wants to tell us whether or not he's hawkish or dovish on the economy, right? The inflation report came out pretty bad, right? Inflation was higher than they wanted, and there's some other newses coming around, and Jerome Powell is going to set the tone all right, for the next FOMC rate decision that is going to be made. All right, so this is going to be interesting, coming in 5 minutes. All right, so let's get to the Bitcoin chart here. And I do have to give a major shout out to everybody in the chat right now as the Bitcoin price is attempting to break out of this Fibonacci golden pocket. Make sure to smash the like straight to 100K. All right, so we can give away $1,000. Huge shout out to Aaron G in the chat. Huge shout out to Planted Crypto, thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. Huge shout out to Ben. It should bounce a couple thousand if it holds above 61. Huge shout out to JWeb3. I'd like to thank the shouts. Without shouts, the shout outs will never be shouted. Absolutely, my man. All right, shout out to the real Fat Fart Supreme. He dated a girl whose name was Large Booty 82. All right, I'm more into the 28. All right, the 28, not the 82s. All right, but that's just my own age demographic. Okay, huge shout out to my man JS Wow, manipulation at its finest. Show us position history and fees. I just showed you position history, and I don't know what do you mean about fees? MEXC, what do you mean about fees? I literally just showed you my P&L for the entire month. What else do you want me to show you? All right, so Crypto Nate B says, hey man, thanks for a smile here while I work. Man, I appreciate you. All right. Kenny Ski says, yo, yo, yo. Space Monkey says, double the trade. Man, I ain't doubling the trade. Shout out to Ways of the Jedi. He says, it's the divine name. Shout out to Ways of the Jedi. Ways of the Jedi, bro, come on, man. You don't even know Hebrew. If I gave you a Hebrew Bible right now, you wouldn't know what to do with it, would you? All right? So don't talk if you don't know what you're talking about, my man. Shout out to Darla Adams. Amen. Amen. Bro, the name Yeshua is literally in the Bible, man. It's literally in the Bible. I don't know what you're talking about. Shout out to Divine Hood. All right? Shout out to Fettuccine Genie. Shout out to Kron Chisel. Shout out to Matt Rhodes. He's an arm wrestling guy. Shout out to OG Blockchain in the chat. Shout out to Divine Hood. Shout out to Pasternak88. Shout out to Hormat, who says I'm a funny guy. Well, guys, we got 1,300 people in here. Let's see if we can't get 1,000 likes. All right. Just locked in profits. Shout out to the real King Solomon. Just locked in profits. Time to short. Maybe, look, we're at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 zone right here. All right, we're at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 zone right here. And we're getting a little bit of a doji candle on the 15-minute. All right, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart, okay? First of all, what do we know? We know that we are trading a bit of a sideways range right here. And if we take a look at all this stuff, right? All this stuff on the chart, we know that we are coming down to the low of the range, right? We've got ourselves a sideways range. We could say that we've got ourselves our low at around 59,088 and our high at around 73,951, right? And we came down to the low of this range right here. We actually did take a little bit of liquidity from this level. And we also did get a fake out of this triangle trend line. Now, a lot of people say the triangle is dead. Maybe the triangle's dead. I don't know. It could be dead. It could be alive. I don't know. Right? We got a fake out of this trend line no matter what. You want to look at a triangle or a trend line, doesn't even matter. And then we came back in and we lost it again. And now we're consolidating right here. But if we go ahead and pull a local fib from the most recent low to the most recent high, you can see that we are finding support right in this little area between the golden pocket and the 786 Fibonacci. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, wow, Jason, what a crazy area to find support. And I would agree with you. Absolutely. What a crazy area to find support. If this area holds, there actually is a chance that we could see the price actually change market structure here. There's a chance. Is that chance very high? Honestly, guys, I don't think so. But here's one thing I do want to point out. As we are grinding down to this area of support, all right, which, by the way, is the area of support. You know, that's the thing. If you're just relaxed, wait for your levels to be hit, right? This is the level that we gave in the Casper crew in between the golden pocket and the 786 to look for those juicy long trades, right? So, you know, we come over here. As we're coming down to this zone, we are seeing on the 24-minute time frame money flow getting higher slightly, and we're seeing the momentum waves also getting higher here. We go down to our 12-minute time frame, and the 12-minute time frame, in my opinion, looks bullish as all get out, if I'm going to use that baby boomer phrase. All right? And because we're seeing the momentum waves and the money flow get higher with multiple bottoms. Okay? So am I saying Bitcoin's going to pump? I honestly don't know. My entire strategy is I'm just going to take a trade. If I see a trade, lock in a profit, and then whatever happens, happens. Now, the current trade I am in, guys, when we saw what happened down here, guys, look at this. All right? As we were down in this little area of choppity chop, 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 we were seeing the price actually, look at this, very interesting. All of a sudden, we take the highs, right? This little chunk of price action, we take the highs, then we take the lows. As soon as we took those lows, look at the 1-minute market Cipher B getting higher. Look at the money flow coming up. I said, you know what? It's now or never for me. It's now or never for me. Jason, this is the only shot to long the bottom of Bitcoin. All right? Money flow looks bullish. 12-minute looks bullish. 24-minute looks bullish. We're in support. Jason, this is your chance. Are you going to do it? The answer was yes. I was going to do it, which is why I'm in the long trade right now, okay? So, as you can see, after getting Chop City down here, we are now finding resistance at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786 zone, and as you know, right, these are our two sisters of resistance. First of all, the 618, my high school crush, the 6 Juanita Fibonacci level. Had a huge thing for this chick. I asked her on a date. Turns out I was in something called the friend zone. Didn't know what it was before, but it broke my heart and changed my life forever. When I asked her on a date, she said, Jason, I will not date you because I don't like you like that, but I will still be friends. Okay, and then of course, we have the 786 Fibonacci, who also will not date us because secretly, she's not even a she. So she's not looking to date a he, if you know what I mean. All right, now check this out as well. As we are coming to this key zone, which I have conveniently drawn a circle around on the chart, you can see that potentially we have a nice bottom forming here. What do I mean by that? Well, we made a low, and then we made a lower low, and now we're making a higher low. So if we actually come up above these highs, guys, that is going to be a very nice looking bottom, in which case I would expect to move back up to around maybe $65,000. I'd say 64.8. 64.8, where we have this nice resistance right up here, 64.8. Okay, so we could come up here, maybe change the market structure even more, come back down for retest. Then we could fake everybody out, because remember, people are bearish, even myself. I mean, guys, look at the thumbnail. Look at the title of the video. Emergency Bitcoin short trade? Now, when YouTube is getting bearish like that, you gotta watch out. All right, when us influencers are publicly shorting Bitcoin at the bottom, you gotta watch out. Because this market exists to wreck as many people as possible. All right, which is why in the Casper Crew VIP Discord, we look to long support, like this trade setup that was given yesterday, to basically look for a long from where we're exactly at right now. Okay, so we need to be paying attention. Are we going to be getting a move higher here? All right, if we can reclaim $64,000, hold above, I'd say there's a real good chance we could get 64,800, man. And if we get 64,800, man, well, let me tell you something. We could very easily see now this nice bottom form where we get the rounded bottom with the change of market structure, and actually we would be having officially the introverted head and shoulders pattern kind of forming here, right? Roughly speaking, introverted head and shoulders. The introvert breaks out of his shell after high school. In high school, he's a loser. He's introverted. The girls don't date him. They break up with him, right? They're in the friend zone, but he worked his butt off in high school at McDonald's, put all the money into Apple stock in 2009. Now all the jocks in high school, they peaked. But now our introverted head and shoulders, he's breaking out. All right, he's breaking out. His face is covered in pimples. He's broken out, but it doesn't matter because he's rich now. So all those girls are going to be looking at him now. Look at him breaking out. People are going to be asking questions in the YouTube chat. Is it too late to buy? Is it too late to long? That's what we're looking for right now. All right, we are up right now, $4,144 US. All right, and I'm feeling something, guys. All right, I'm feeling something. I can't tell you what it is, but so far this move to the upside does feel healthy. All right, doesn't feel as sick as the other moves, right? It's got multiple injections of volume coming in, right? Because this price action is constantly mutating. We need more injections of volume every second. Look at this. We're coming up to the 786 level. We're getting a move above, baby. This was supposed to be a bearish stream. But what, oh my goodness, this is so dang bullish right now. Let's check out the order flow chart. All right, we're going to come back over to TradingView right now. We got 1,700 people in the house. Let's see if we can't get some likes, baby. All right, because we still have 10 minutes to give away $1,000. All right, check this out. All right, let's check this out. I'm going to the 12-minute here. Going to go to the 12-minute here. Look. Am I jumping the gun on this bullishness? Of course I am, guys. Look, there's really no sign of strength here at all yet. Okay, I'm in a scalp long, all right? Okay, but I'm a scalper, I'm a day trader. So for us scalpers, man, we're pumping like crazy. Look at the 5-second time frame, man. Okay, but yeah, honestly, guys, there's real no sign of strength here. So make sure to smash the likes. Let's actually see what's happening here. As we are getting this move to the upside, I do want to take a look at the order flow. We looked at Market Cipher. Market Cipher says more upside is possible. We are officially, guys, above the VWAP. And this has, in fact, been a healthy move to the upside. How can we tell the health of this move to the upside? Well, first of all, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. I didn't even notice this because, again, I usually don't even use order flow to trade. I only use Market Cipher. But now in hindsight, I can see that at these lows, we had bullish CVD forming here. We had shorts. Those bearish YouTubers and their bearish thumbnails getting bearish as support were actually being absorbed by bigger players. Wow, what a development in the price action. Let me give you guys a little illustration. All right, hang on. We got to log in here. All right. Let me give you guys a little illustration here. Okay. Now check this out. We're coming down to an area that we know is support. Why is this area support? It's because if we pull the fib from the low to the high, we are coming down to the area in between the Fibonacci golden pocket and the 786. All right, very important zone. And as we're coming down into this zone, look at what we see happen here. First of all, throughout the entirety of this little range here, we are seeing more shorts opening up than longs. But even more so locally, ever since we made this low right here, all right, we made this first low down here, and then we made a higher low right here. As we're making the higher low, we are seeing the CVD getting lower and the open interest getting higher. What does this tell us? That means there's more shorts than longs opening up, and yet the price is unable to continue in a downtrend, making lower lows and lower highs. In fact, even though there's more shorts than longs opening, the price is making higher lows. What a divergence of what should be happening versus what is happening. That's why it's called a bullish divergence, which means there are whales down here, the big whales, right? The big belugas, the market makers. Let's draw a picture of those big belugas. All right, this is how a beluga whale looks. Man, look at that beluga tail. That's what I like to see. Man, this whale has a very misshapen body compared. Okay, but look, here's the thing. We all know that the real whales, they're not very beautiful, right? They're those ugly big fat guys with the hot chicks on the yachts on the opposite end of all your losing trades. Right? So we don't expect him to look nice, but here's the thing. Let's get a big old spout. All right? He is sitting down here absorbing those shorts. As they're coming in, he's like, you know what? If I want to buy something, I need a lot of sellers. And right now, people are getting bearish. Right? The sellers are here. The thumbnails are open mouth, fingers pointing, bearish candles. Us whales. Why don't we see if we can't absorb some of these shorts to push the price to the upside? So, all things considered here, as we come down to these lows, we are seeing Market Cipher B on the 12-minute time frame give us a pretty nice looking bottom. We are seeing whales absorbing shorts entering at the lows, and we are coming down to a box of support, which undeniably is a box of support. So here's the thing, guys, for me, all right, this is just me, right? This ain't no financial advice. I'm no financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet. Got a Pikachu hat, got a toilet bowl plunger on the face, all right? Plunging my own face here, not financial advice, but I would say this for certain, all right? So long as the Bitcoin price can hold this purple box, all right? It's very important that the box is purple. We don't want it any other color, all right? And let me get rid of that background. Actually, let me make it a nicer color purple and a little bit more thick, all right? As long as the Bitcoin price is holding this thick purple box, I'd say that there's a good chance we could see us come back up to the top of this local range that we have right here. Because really, this is our local range right now, okay? This is our local range from Saturday. So we should be looking for longs either from the purple box, right? Or we should be looking for longs if we take those lows. Just like you should be looking for shorts at the top of the range, right? If you take the highs of the range, which we had right here, you look for the short when we take the highs. The first long you look for is going to be at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786. The second area is, look, if we lose the box, we come down to here, then we could get a bounce. Now let's take a look at Market Cipher B. Once again, we're going to go now to the 4-hour time frame, guys. All right? The 4-hour time frame, one of my favorite time frames. All right? The 4-hour time frame. The 24-minute and the 4-hour are some of my favorite time frames. The 4-hour and the 24-minute are related. You take the 4-hour, divided by 10, you got yourselves a 24-minute. Now look at this. If we do come back down lower to the low of our range here, right? We very well could be printing the coveted uneven butt cheek pattern on Market Cipher B 4-hour. And as many of us know, the 4-hour uneven butt cheek Market Cipher B pattern is one of the most bullish patterns that is printed here on Market Cipher, okay? If you're a cipherologist like myself, a cheekologist as I call it, when you see that, you know there's a good chance that a serious bottom is in. A serious bottom. Why is it called a bottom? Well, look, you tell me why you think it's called a bottom. Divergences, man. That's the way to do it. Now, let's go ahead and take some stuff off the chart. Money flow getting lower, right? Jay, money flow getting lower, don't you think? Yes, 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 money flow is getting lower, but, okay? I would say that if we do get another drive to the downside, we very, very well could be doing something like this, right, over time, where the 4-hour is actually getting higher. And again, this range here, all right, this range is a sideways range, meaning we cannot get overly bearish at the low of the range. We can't. It's irresponsible, especially if we're starting to see stuff like this happen, which does mean if we get another move to the downside like this, don't be surprised if we get a nice retracement to the upside. Or, you know, even if we get like a fake out, don't be surprised if we get that retracement, right? Because we're starting to see those bullish dips forming here. So I know a lot of people, including myself, have our target set down at 51.8. You know, that is really where I'm looking to take some profits on my shorts. But first of all, we might not get there at all. Second of all, it might take us a long time to get there. And third of all, when you're trading a sideways range, even if your target is sideways and down, which mine has been ever since we printed a weekly data Market Cipher B. So I've been saying sideways and down since we closed on the week of March 18th. All right. It's been a month that I've been very, very clear that I expect sideways and down. All right. I was wrong in the sense that I thought we were going to take this high first. But nonetheless, my sideways and down is still valid. So even if we get a move up like this, right, we can still expect sideways and down, right? Based on all things considered. So this is where we're at right now with the Bitcoin price. We are coming to not only the local Fibonacci Golden Pocket retest, but look at this, guys. Look at this. Locally now, for the past few days, the value area low of our range, right around 63.8. This has been our resistance. If we can reclaim 63.8, given the fact that we technically do have some nice bullishness on these medium-term timeframes, right? Look at the 24-minute. Does not look very bearish to me. Look at the 12-minute. The 12-minute is the time frame that gets me into all my juicy trades, right? If we can reclaim, this is just another confluence, right? Because we were saying already, if we hold above that 786, we're getting sucked up to 63.8, 63.7. But now, if we hold above 63.7, 63.8, the higher term timeframes are telling us there is more possibility, more probability that we will see even further continuation to the upside, potentially coming all the way up to the Fibonacci Golden Pocket retracement, which is really, it's going to be around 68.5, guys. We could see move up to 68.5 if we hold above 63.8. All right, 68.5 and 63.8. Wow, 68.5 and 63.8. Those numbers are like music to my ears. All right, so we are above that Fibonacci Golden Pocket right now, y'all. We are above it. Make sure to smash the likes, guys. And shout out to everybody in the chat. All right, shout out to Kalechi. He says 879,000. When does Powell speak? I think he already spoke, and I think maybe we might have missed it. All right. I think we might have missed it, but let's check right now and see, can we watch Powell speak live? Let's check it out, all right? I'm gonna check it out. Oh yeah, let's see, Powell live. All right, we've got, here he is.
Okay, I know I do it behind the scenes. I'll do it in front of the scenes too.
Great. So let me start by thanking Randy and Bill and Xavi.
All right, he's talking, guys. Let's pop him on the screen real quick.
I want to echo what Randy said about the mutually beneficial, respectful, great relationship we have with Canada, economically, culturally, and I'd also like to echo, I thought Tiff did a great job talking about the similarities and differences in our economy, our
Do we even want to watch this? I don't even know if I want to watch this. I'll be honest with you.
Policy stance. It's almost as though you somehow had a copy of that part of my remarks, Tiff. So I'm not going to repeat that, but what I will do is talk, if I could, a little bit about the U.S. economy and where we find ourselves right now.
All right, here we go.
As I think Randy pointed out, the performance of the U.S. economy over the past year has really been quite strong. We had growth of more than 3% last year as rebounding supply supported both robust growth and in spending and also employment, alongside a considerable decline in inflation. The more recent data show solid growth and continued strength in the labor market, but also a lack of further progress so far this year on returning to our 2% inflation goal. So I'll say a little bit about our two mandate goals, maximum employment and price stability. As I mentioned, the labor market remains very strong. Payroll job gains have been strong over the first quarter, averaging just a tick above 275,000 per month. The unemployment rate has been below 4% for 26 consecutive months, which hasn't happened in more than a half a century, the longest streak of its kind. Strong demand for workers has been met by a substantial increase in the workforce due both to rising labor force participation and a substantial increase in immigration, as indeed Canada has experienced as well. So even with this strength, by many measures, our labor market has been moving into better balance over the past year. The ratio of job openings to unemployed workers was extremely elevated in 2021 and 22, has now moved back down to levels just above the pre-pandemic era. Surveys of workers and businesses indicate a normalizing labor market. So do the rates of both quits and hires. And broader wage pressures also continue to moderate, albeit gradually. So the overall picture for the labor market is one of real strength, but gradual normalization. Turning to price stability, our inflation mandate. Inflation, of course, declined quite significantly over the second half of last year, over the whole year, but particularly in the second half. But 12-month core PCE inflation, which is one of the most important things we look at, is estimated to have been little changed in March over February at 2.8%, and the 3- and 6-month measures of inflation are actually above that level. So we've said at the FOMC that we'll need greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2% before it would be appropriate to ease policy. You know, we took that cautious approach and sought that greater confidence so as not to overreact to the string of low inflation readings that we had in the second half of last year. The recent data have clearly not given us greater confidence and instead indicate that it's likely to take longer than expected to achieve that confidence.
Whoa.
That said, we think policy is well positioned to handle the risks that we face. If higher inflation does persist, we can maintain the current level of restriction for as long as needed. At the same time, we have significant space to ease should the labor market unexpectedly weaken. Right now, given the strength of the labor market and progress on inflation so far, it's appropriate to allow restrictive policy further time to work and let the data and the evolving outlook guide us. Come what may.
All right, guys, the dollar is absolutely pumping on this news right here, and the S&P 500 is taking a massive move to the toilet bowl, okay? So he doesn't seem too hawkish. He seems kind of dovish, but the markets are reacting a little bit bearishly here. So let's see what else he has to say.
As we moved around, and when I see the two of you on stage together, I know that often you see each other at G7, at G20 meetings, and I think it would be quite interesting for the audience to understand, how collaboration happens or doesn't happen internationally, how central banks work together or don't work together. So, maybe I could ask you, Jay, to give a perspective on how that.
He's asking Jay to give his perspective. I'll be the sign language guy.
To give you an idea, we do meet quite regularly. So Tiff and I attend 2 G7 meetings per year for ministers, that's finance ministers, and central bank governors. We don't attend the leaders meeting, but we attend, in the United States, but we attend the meetings with the finance ministers, which Bill was, and also 2 G20 meetings. So that's 4 meetings per year right there. We also have 6 meetings at the Bank for International Settlements in Basel. One of those is now virtual, but we're and that's only central bankers, no finance ministries. So it's all central banking stuff. And, it's economics, it's financial regulation, all those things. We also come here to Washington, or every 3rd year we go someplace else twice a year for the IMF World Bank meetings, which is kind of what everybody's doing in Washington right now. So it's a lot of meetings. What do we do at these meetings? Fair question. Essentially, the central bankers, are having an ongoing conversation about what's going on in their own economies and their own financial markets, their own regulatory world with each other. And we're also talking about the big global issues of the day, as you would expect. So some of which are really the business of the elected government, not the business of the central bankers. But we have that discussion. It's more or less ongoing. We're seeing each other all the time. They're very informative, these discussions, and they really are, for me anyway, part of the way that I get to thinking about what the right policy is for the United States, is to hear what is going on around the world, what's happening globally, and how are people thinking about that. So it's very, very useful, particularly, though, given our close cultural, financial, and economic ties with Canada. Those discussions are especially fruitful and important, and I have regular conversations with Tiff. By the way, I do keep very close track of the actions of the Bank of Canada. I read Tiff's press conference transcripts carefully and pay close attention to that. Tiff did mention the similarities and differences. I'll say one more thing, which is we go to Basel, as I mentioned, 5 times a year. You're a long way from home, and we're there for 4 or 5 nights, and there are usually 1 or 2 nights off. So we go looking for someone to have dinner with, and very frequently we wind up with the Bank of Canada delegation who are really good and very funny and a lot of fun together. So we have a very close relationship with the bank and great respect for that institution, as I'll have a little more to say about lately. One other thing I'll point out, though, about our relationship is we did do, as Randy pointed out, our first review of our monetary policy framework really ever. And we looked around. The Bank of Canada also does regularly. I think it's every 4 years. In any case, we really looked to the Canadian model and other models of how to do that. We talked to people at the Bank of Canada about how their regular framework review went. So we really benefited for that. So that's what I'll stop there.
And Tiff, similar perspective from Canada?
Yes. I mean, I'll just add a little bit on as Jay outlined, certainly from my perspective, one of the best parts about this job is
Yeah, I like how they call him Jay. All right, guys, so look, obviously, who really cares what these guys say, but we'll still listen a little bit. But here's the thing. Look at this, guys.
If we get it right,
we're all in this together, guys. Where have you heard that before? We're all in this together.
There is
look,
a considerable openness.
The dollar,
and as Jay outlined,
the dollar right now is getting a big move to the upside. The S&P 500 getting a big move to the downside, but the S&P is starting to bounce. The S&P has taken liquidity here, with honestly some potentially bullish-looking divergences.
It's very important to Canada.
All right, the S&P 500 just took the low of this range that we've been trading since
they got a lot more experience.
Monday. Well, I don't even know what day it is today.
What the Fed has to say is incredibly valuable.
So yeah, if the dollar starts to get a move down, because the dollar is just taking out this high right here, maybe we could see some more upside for Bitcoin.
Thinking through the scenarios together.
All right, maybe we could. Bitcoin holding above VWAP right now. Actually, let's check out the order flow chart for Bitcoin right now.
How would we handle it?
All right, we had a decrease of OI here. Nothing too crazy really.
And think through the risks.
And honestly, we had some bearish CVD.
There are also a number of.
All right, we had some bullish CVD down here, followed by some bearish CVD at this high. So
central banking.
Honestly, I'm pretty agnostic right now. Definitely makes for a good scalp trade at the very least. Look, if you're in a trade, this is definitely a TP1. It's definitely a place to lock in some profits at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket 786. VWAP also in this area. Now we let it ride. If we're going to lose this zone, guys, I'm going to be looking down to take the lows again before I get into another long, all right? So, all right, let's get back to our good friend Jay and his Canadian lovers. Jay and his Canadian lovers.
That we're only going to succeed if we do together. The obvious one would be financial supervision and regulation. Our financial systems globally are highly integrated. We were deeply reminded of this in the global financial crisis. What happens in other countries affects all of us. And money flows across borders. So, we have to do that together, or it's not.
Oh, sorry, guys. I forgot that I didn't mute them on the other scene.
Into that for a minute. Obviously we recognize that most of your work is focused on the domestic markets. But in times of crisis, there's real challenge. As you mentioned, in the COVID period, the global financial crisis, that you were engaged with, Tiff, earlier in a different stage of your career. And for me, it was remarkable the number of interactions with counterparts around the world during those crises. So maybe a question to both of you.
All right, dollar's starting to dump now, guys. Good for Bitcoin.
During periods of crisis, what doesn't happen? Are there things that we should be thinking about differently in order to prepare ourselves for those challenging moments?
So we're preparing ourselves for crisis, all right, just like COVID. This is what Jay has to say.
Over to you, Jay, to react to that and hear your thoughts.
Sure. So, our economies, our financial markets, all of our institutions are deeply intertwined. And when there is a situation where there's serious stress, you need to get a global perspective. You need to get perspective around the world, and you have to do that very quickly. And we of course can move quickly and effectively on the domestic front. But what the thing that you figure out in those times is that all the time you spent at Basel and at the G7 and G20 meetings, your colleagues, you know and trust and respect their judgment, and you don't have to go through that phase of gaining trust in people. You understand each other, you speak the same language. So there's a lot of communication. The level of communication is pretty high anyway, but during crises it goes very high. I'm constantly talking to other central bankers around the world, and also political leaders in our government, and that sort of thing. So that happens a lot. The sense of what you're doing, again, is mostly sharing information and ideas about what to do. There may be a proposal that people are looking at, and you're talking about that. So it's very useful. I say one thing to point out is it's less about coordination than it is about talking and understanding, for one reason, or at least it was during the pandemic, and that was because almost every country's interest rates were very close to zero when the pandemic hit, and so there wasn't policy space for most economies, most central banks, to do a big coordinated rate cut. We did cut very quickly to zero, but I think we were higher than almost any other nation in terms of where our policy rate was. But anyway, there's a lot of communication, and those relationships that you built up really do help at that point. In terms of you asked about learning, what have we learned? I think that the pandemic's going to teach a whole lot of lessons over time. I still think it's too early to say what they are with confidence, and I'll point out, look, at the pandemic has surprised us over and over again, most recently in the United States, the remarkably strong performance of the economy at a time when virtually all economists were expecting a recession.
Could you believe that? Doubling the money supply would make the economy look good on paper during a pandemic. Wow, what a surprise.
I think in a year or so we'll have a lot more answers. It is a unique set of circumstances, and we're still learning, I think. But we will try to learn those lessons. Different point, I would say, about the bank stresses, another crisis, at least here in the States. I do think we can and have learned the lessons of the stress of early last spring. And I would point to a couple things that we embraced pretty forthrightly. One was that supervision was not tightly focused on the right things, was not proactive enough, was not forceful enough, and we've tried to take steps to remedy that. I also think there will be some regulatory initiatives for banks of that size and with those characteristics in time. So I do think those are lessons that we have learned.
And from a Canadian perspective, similar lessons or?
All right, guys, major shout out to our super chat in the house. All right. All right, huge shout out to my man Gaz25 for the £2 super chat. All right.
You're faced with a situation, you have to make decisions, and you have very limited information. The other reality is you have a pretty narrow window to act to be really effective. And for both those reasons, being able to speak, directly to Jay, to connect with our other colleagues, finding out what's happening in their jurisdiction, how are they thinking about it, what do they see as the options, it is hugely important in a crisis. And that it's a little more, though, than just information sharing. I mean, I think it helps us avoid unintended consequences of our actions. Sometimes you do something and it works for most parties, but not one party. And in a crisis, it's the weakest link that can take you down. So you've got to be careful. It also, I think, boosts confidence in the system. If we're acting in a way that is coherent together, it boosts confidence. It looks more like a plan than a haphazard policy response. Just to give you a couple of examples, I wasn't actually governor at the start of COVID. Jay was there. But certainly looking at it from the outside, the coordinated actions of major central banks to reopen fixed income markets, providing liquidity, providing market making of last resort in scale,
Oh man, providing liquidity and scale. I like the way this man talks.
By all doing it essentially at the same time and all working in scale, the whole global market restarted. If that had not happened, this crisis would have been a much deeper and more severe crisis. And then the other one I'll highlight is coping with the inflation as we came out of COVID. By all being resolute in our commitment to restoring price stability, by all matching our words with forceful action, raising rates rapidly. We all helped each other. I mean, it helped reduce global inflation in goods, which was really the first part of the inflation surge. And it helped keep inflation expectations in all our countries better anchored. And I think it is a key ingredient in how we have all managed to get inflation down a long way back without causing recessions in our economies. And the last point I'll just highlight is something you said.
Man, these guys are so cool. They're so great. They're so good at patting each other on the back, man. We did so good. Jay.
7 interest rate cut. I remember clearly because it happened at 3 o'clock in the morning in Canada, which was a little bit of a technical challenge. But most of the time, it's not explicit coordination, but it is those conversations. It is that shared information. We have similar objectives, similar goals, similar tools, and we're sharing information, and that leads to a coordinated response.
Well, maybe you could spend a little bit more time on that from the Canada-U.S. perspective. So Randy mentioned in his opening comments.
So guys, dollar took a massive dump, and it looks like it could come down a bit more here. Bitcoin is kind of holding. It's not looking the strongest right now. The S&P 500 is well, I'll just show you the S&P 500 chart. Yeah, let's. So this is the dollar, all right? Dollar actually looks like she could come down more here. Dollar has lost that high, but the ES, the S&P 500, we did get that big move up here, but let's go to the 5-minute. We got that move up, but now we're starting to get a retrace. So I would be watching, maybe we come back down for a retest here. Bitcoin, I would like to see Bitcoin hold the golden pocket. This so far for Bitcoin is not very strong looking because we have not changed market structure here. It looks like she wants to give us another lower low after putting in another lower high. I'll be honest. All right. So
for Canada, there are my opening remarks, some differences. Another important difference I didn't focus on is, both our economies have big manufacturing sectors, big service sectors, large commodity sectors. But the commodity sector.
Then we got 2,000 votes on the poll and only 700 likes. Oh, man.
Fishing. 40% of our exports, 13% of our GDP. And the commodity cycle can be quite different. And we have a flexible exchange rate that does help absorb the differences. And I think it's an important reason why historically sometimes our monetary policy do differ. Our cycles are often quite similar, and certainly through COVID we had a similar shock and a pretty similar cycle, and our monetary policy has been quite similar. There have been other episodes, though, where, particularly if the commodity cycle is different, you'll see monetary policy diverge somewhat from the United States. There are limits to how far it can diverge, but as I emphasized, we have our own currency, we have a flexible exchange rate, and that absorbs the differences to allow us to gear monetary policy to what we need to do in Canada.
And Jay, from your perspective, obviously the U.S. has an outsized role in the global economy, and I guess we'd be interested in understanding how much time do you deliberate on what your actions will have as reactions, and how much do you think about what's happening with global markets as you come to your conclusions?
So I'll start by saying that each central bank serves a domestic mandate, which is, in the case of Fed, is using our tools to achieve maximum employment and price stability for the benefit of the people we serve. So it's a domestic mandate. But in the case of the United States, we fully realize and appreciate that our decisions can have significant effects on not just on Canada, or Mexico, but on countries around the world. And that's all the more so because the dollar is the principal reserve currency, which strengthens the transmission of our policy through the global economy.
Huge shout out to Jumpman Crypto for the super chat. Thank you, bro.
Effects on global demand from our policy changes can have an effect on the United States as well. That can rebound to the United States. So we're very, very aware of all of that. And for one thing, we try to be very transparent and predictable, given the flow of data and events. I mean, you have to move quickly sometimes, but we do realize we have a special obligation to be predictable and transparent, and that benefits us in doing that as well. So international spillovers, of course, are an important consideration. We do track that. Ultimately, though, we think over time, the most important thing we can do to support the global economy is to deliver on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment here in the United States.
And is that, have there been changes in this current cycle that have driven any differences? I mean, you've talked about the different drivers for inflation this go around from previous periods of inflation. So do you think about it differently as you approach these things?
Yeah, well, specifically on inflation, I do think this is different. This is not simply the more standard case of overheated demand, which has been the typical thing in the post-war era for the U.S. economy and other major Western economies. There are similarities and differences, and I would characterize it this way, that the inflation that arose suddenly really in the early part of 2021 as economies reopened resulted both from constrained supply and also elevated and rechanneled demand from services to goods. So if you remember, and I'm sure will, there were unexpected widespread shortages and supply chain failures on a scale not seen in recent memory. In the U.S., several million people had left the labor force, creating a severe labor shortage that was more fully felt once the economy reopened, leading to a huge spike in wages, but also in the ratio of job openings to unemployed workers. So very unusual situation. Households had elevated levels of savings, and demand was very, very strong as well. So we thought, what's different is, have thought since we've understood the situation, that restoring price stability would require both the unwinding of the pandemic-related distortions to both supply and demand, as well as the effects of tight monetary policy on demand, which would give the supply side time and space to recover. And we think today that we're seeing those two things working together to bring that end about. And you saw that, I think, in 2023, which was really, in a large way, a supply side story. What happened was the supply side really recovered in 2023. We thought that it would recover in 2021, and in 2022, I was beginning to lose hope. And then in 2023, you saw the shortages and the issues with the trade pipelines not fully resolved, but largely resolved. You saw the U.S. labor force shortage alleviated by both higher participation among people who had dropped out of the workforce, but also from immigration. So that was the year of the supply side recovery. And you saw the core inflation rates drop by 2 full percentage points in the face of very strong growth. So that can only be explained by the enormous increase in potential output, the supply side increase over that year. So that's how I would say it's different this time.
And Tiff, maybe you can tell us how it's different in other ways in Canada. So we were talking about the similarities and the similar approaches to dealing with inflation and the positive results. But we've seen a divergence in Canada with respect to growth. So clearly there's some differences too. Maybe can you reflect for people what those differences look like and what the ramifications are for you?
Yeah, I will focus on the differences, although I will stress I think the main story is the similarities. And as Jay outlined, what is so unique about this whole cycle is that supply has played a much bigger role than we're used to. And from a monetary policy perspective, we don't have as good line of sight to supply as we do as demand, and we don't have any tools to influence supply. Our tools work on demand. In terms of what has been different, if you look at the Canadian economy, growth was essentially zero in the second half of last year. And what that meant was...
Shout out to Saturn. I agree, Saturn. I totally agree with you. I'm curious to see what happens here, because there is a chance that this is just one move, right? Like, we might see this be the move. Right? The move itself might just do something like this, you know? That's the only reason why I'm looking at this fib here. All right, guys. So, let's discuss a few things here. All right? Let's discuss a few things, all right? So I know we're going to get back to our friends, okay? But I just want to give some commentary on the price here. First of all, guys, the Bitcoin price failed to make a higher high in this range. We did reject from the Fibonacci golden pocket. If we take it from high to low, we rejected right from the 786 area. Very weak. We've been unable to make a higher high this entire time. So far, it looks like we're going to be making another lower low. However, we do have this white box that I've drawn on the chart. This white box is the local Fibonacci zone from low to high. That's why we're getting a little bit of a bounce from here, even though it's not amounting to much yet. These levels are not going to be ignored totally, no matter what, right? So this box really must hold for the Bitcoin price, and if not, then we could come down quite a bit lower here. I do want to take a look also at some other levels that we have on the chart, okay? This is the short I'm in as well. There are 3 areas of interest actually that I have here for potentially finding a local bounce. Area number 1, 61,350. Area number 2, 59.8. Area number 3, 59.1. And the best level would be actually coming down here, where we would have some nice bullish divergences on the chart. We would wreck a lot of people. We might come down quite a bit lower from here. So it's not like I would blindly long this level, but if we do come down here and then we start to reclaim it, I would look at that as a very big sign of strength on the chart locally, at least to give us a retracement. And the reason why is because we would have taken out the lows of this very large range that we have here, right? So coming and taking out the lows of this range, then a reclaim is bullish, right? So let's say we come down, we spend some time here or whatever, and then eventually we start to come back up. That's bullish. I would look for a move. If that happens, I would honestly be looking for a move back up to around this zone right here, right? The $68,000 area. And if this is going to bring us down to 52K, this would be a really nice kind of way it could happen. All right, really nice way it could happen. because this would basically give us a fake out of the range. Everybody says, oh no, we've broken down. Whole bunch of shorts pile up here. Get the short squeeze, the retracement to make the lower high. Then we can come down to our 52, 51.8-ish zone, and then we can get a real bounce. That's kind of how I would like to see this play out. Of course, we don't get to choose how price action happens, but if I did get to choose, that's how I would choose it to happen right now. All right, if I did get to choose, that's how I would choose it to happen right now. All right. The Bitcoin price, baby. The Bitcoin price. We are getting a little bit of a bounce from our box. Our box is giving us a little bit of a bounce here, guys. All right, if this holds and we do make a higher high, then that's a different story here. So let's watch as we're bouncing from our white box, guys. The white box is coming up to first area of resistance. So the way we watch price action, right, is basically we're always looking for those sideways ranges, right? We had the ceiling right here. We broke above the ceiling. We retested it as the floor. We made a lower high. We lost it. So now this area is very important. If we can reclaim this, potentially we can be looking for that, okay? The reason why I'm still saying high is possible here, even though we failed to make a higher high, goes back to market Cipher B. All right, on the 12-minute time frame, I cannot help but notice that as we're grinding at support, we are seeing money flow and momentum waves get higher. All right, money flow and momentum waves get higher. So look, to me, that is a chance of continued upside here, all right? So that's the only reason why I've been looking for longs and why I've been longing all day. All right, I've been taking longs all day. You know? All right, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Huge shout out to Ralph GD. Can you open multiple positions in hedge mode? Yes, you can. But you can't open two longs at the same time. It has to be one short and one long. All right. Massive shout out to One. He says S&P looks bearish right now. All right, let's check out the S&P. So I'll be honest with you about the S&P, right? I could see why you'd think this could be bearish, but we do have some bullish divergences, and we have just taken the liquidity. So I would not be surprised, right? I would not be surprised if we see a bit more upside here for Bitcoin and the S&P, right? I'm not saying it's guaranteed to happen. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. We've got bull divs everywhere, and sentiment is very bearish, right? All right, yeah, we got a CDW of the S&P 500. Let's check out the dollar quickly as well, because the dollar did something crazy when Jerome Powell spoke, right? The Jerome Powell also got a swing failure pattern of its high, right? So the S&P got a swing failure of the low, the dollar got a swing failure of the high. And as long as the dollar holds below 106.429, we can see the dollar get to move back down to its local range, right? We can see the dollar get to move back down to around that 106.238 zone, right? 106.238 is literally the golden pocket here. So yeah, we could see the dollar get a little bit more downside here, maybe about, 0.12%. And we could see the ES get another little bit move up to the upside to the top of its range, maybe around 5.111. I think that could carry Bitcoin for us, because Bitcoin, man, is bouncing from support right now. Right, BTC bouncing from support, baby. All right. Massive shout out to J-Boy Bullish. Massive shout out to the man giving the shout outs. Massive shout out to Ways of the Jedi. Bitcoin is probably one of the strongest assets to date. Weak and Bitcoin don't belong in the same sentence. That's true. I mean, we have never seen an asset perform the way Bitcoin has performed. It seems crazy, but it's true. I mean, man, the gains on Bitcoin have been absolutely insane. They have been absolutely insane, to say the least. I'm thinking like back to when I first got into Bitcoin in 2016. It's crazy to think about how much money I've made then in Bitcoin. You almost get desensitized to the crazy amount of gains you can make in crypto. just holding on spots. It is pretty crazy. It is insane to think that I bought Bitcoin at $600 and now it's $60,000. I can't even believe that. You know, I can't even believe that. Is anyone else seeing a cup and handle, says the bullish babe crypto? You know, let's check it out. Guys, make sure to smash the like button here. All right. So this is interesting. So Soners Zalitis says we have about 2 billion liquidations at 71,700. Yeah, so we could get a squeeze. That's another thing, guys. Like, hear me out here. All right, hear me out here. Okay, I am not coming out extremely bullish or bearish. I hope you guys know that. I hope you guys watching the channel understand that I most of the time remain pretty neutral. But here's the thing that is objective right now. All right, this right now is objective. We are trading in a sideways range, and we are at the bottom of the range. And everybody's bearish. Okay, that's objective. There's no denying whether or not Bitcoin's going to break down. There's no denying that we are at support. All right, and if we hold support, like we did back here, like we did back here, like we did back here, what do you think is most probable to happen next? Right? Gotta move back to the highs, right? I mean, that's just is what it is. That's why I've been looking for longs down here. Right? So I don't know what's going to happen here. I know I'm short. I know the title of the video is emergency short trade, but you know, keep in mind I'm short from this high here because we came up to the top of the range. Now I'm long from here because we came to the bottom of the range. So you know, this is a place where if we're not going to hold this support, you know, we could eventually see our way down to 52K. But if we do hold support, there is a lot of liquidity up here, right? There is a lot. And up here as well, right? And again, I know I'm beating a dead horse to death. I'm beating a dead horse to death. But when we take a look at the historical Bitcoin in a bull market, Bitcoin in a bull market, when the weekly time frame prints that red dot, right? It is not uncommon for us to range sideways for a long time and get fake outs of the highs and the lows, right? Back here, we had our high, we had our low. We took a fake out of the high, we took a fake out of the low. Right here, we had a high, we had a low. We did a fake out of the high, we did a fake out of the low. Right here, we had our high, we had our low. We did a fake out of the high, we did a fake out of the low, right? Right here, we have our high, and we have our low. We have not yet faked out either. All right, we have not yet faked out either. Now, these ranges, look at, I mean, this is the weekly time frame, meaning every candle is 1 week, all right? The last sideways range we were in with the red dot on the weekly lasted us about 77 days, right? 77 days, that's 10 weeks, 10 or 11 weeks. So far, we've been in this range for about 42 days, all right? So that's about, what, 6 weeks? What's 6 times 7? 42? Yeah, so we could have a few more weeks in here, right? We could have 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks of this range, which is going to take us to May, right? Could take us to May, you know? So there's a lot of things that could happen here, which is why we really just need to be prepared for all different scenarios and be prepared to trade them. All right, Bitcoin getting a bounce, baby. Bitcoin about to get a bounce right here from our box. The bouncy Bitcoin box, baby. The bouncy Bitcoin box, baby, is getting a bounce. Look at this. Look at this, guys. The bouncy Bitcoin baby box. The bouncy box for Bitcoin baby getting a bounce at our bouncy box. All right. This is make it or break it zone. If we can take out these highs, you know, especially, man, if we take out these highs, that is a change of structure. That is a nice bottom. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on. I think we could do it, man. Let me check the 1 minute here. Ah, man, I just don't, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Where are we coming up to? Let's pull a really local fib. All right, we're coming up to the golden pocket 618. So this is local resistance, right? A rejection from here is not good. All right. Shout out to everybody in chat. Basketballs loves the baby box. All right. Yeah, see, don't mess with the baby box, man. These fib levels, no joke, right? Look at that, right from the golden pocket. Right from the golden pocket, man. Right from the golden pocket, baby. One minute double top incoming. Yeah, money flow's coming out on the 1 minute market cipher B here. You know, the only thing keeping me kind of bullish, guys, is the 15 minute looks really bullish. The 20 minute looks pretty bullish. The 24 minute looks really bullish. We're about to confirm a bit boy butt cheek on the 24 minute. And this bottom here looks really nice. This bottom looked really, really nice right here on market cipher 1 minute, right? So let's see how she goes, man. Let's see how she goes. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Wow. Wow, almost 2,400 people. All right, gold is pumping. Shout out to YP Oski. Shout out to Matt. He says, I don't know what he's referring to, but shout out to Matt anyway. Huge shout out to Rec Day Trader. S&P trying to pump. I know. All right, so look at this, guys. This is key right now. All right, let's zoom in on this because this is really make it or break it for Bitcoin as we come up to this local golden pocket here. You know, we're obviously finding a resistance here. Let's see if she wants to break through. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on. Come on. Looks kind of good. Looks kind of good like a breakthrough, man. Come on, Bitcoin. Can she break through? Can she break through? Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, come on. This is such a key level right here, guys. Because if we can break through this zone, this is telling me that this move has more legs on it. All right. This is not a Lieutenant Dan move. This is a Ronnie Coleman kind of 800-pound squat for a double move. Could have done another rep, but didn't do it. All right. All right, here we go, man. Here we go. Yo, Bitcoin pumping back to her good old tricks. Through the golden pocket to the 786. Bitcoin price about to blast through resistance. The next thing you know, the price about to go the distance. Came down, made a really nice bottom. Then we started pumping, now I'm singing this song up. If we come and make a higher high, that's a change of market structure and the price about to fly. Cause look, if you come up right over here, listen to me talk about this, my dear. We could get a nice change of the market structure. The Bitcoin price about to pump and not rupture. To the local resistance and the price about to pump. Then we go to the distance when I'm walking on the treadmill with my new shoes. Are the candles purple? No, they're turning blue only. Here we go, got my Pikachu hat, got the plunger on my face. What you think about that, man? Somebody said financial advice. Then I looked him in the eyes, said that's not very nice. Just a guy on the treadmill trading Bitcoin. I'm not a financial advisor, man, no worries. Yeah, don't even know what I'm saying, but it doesn't even matter cause the trades they be paying. Yeah. Let's go, Bitcoin, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, Bitcoin to the 618. Are we gonna be early? Maybe we'll be late because the price is getting a little bit of a wick. Hopefully we pump through it real quick. But oh no, here we go. The candle's turning purple, looking kinda nerdy. They call me Oh, beat's over. Yeah, we gotta come above this. All right, we gotta come above this. Oh no, I'm getting so scared. Crap. Not looking good. Oh crap, it's not looking good. Bitcoin not doing what she should, but oh no, we came up to the 618, then we got a rejection, now the price is coming late. About to feel the inefficiency, come down to the low, let me show you what I mean. We had a big pump, easy up, easy down, Bitcoin price start to dump, smile into a frown. Along the top, then the price will drop, come to support and I hope that we hop, but if we don't, then we're going down to take the low. When we do, I say Bitcoin, look out below. Oh no, coming down to the bottom of the range. Listen to me close while we make some change. Going long, going short every day. Sitting down at the charts when I'm trying to get paid. Here we go, right back with the beat drop. Bitcoin price going fly, it's not what stop, Now I'm talking every day on the treadmill with my shoes looking all the way. Yeah, the beat just messed me up, guys, alright? The beat just messed me up. But seriously, this is not looking so great with that rejection from the 618, alright? This is not looking so great from the rejection from the 618. Alright? Shout out to Hex Hodl. Yeah, Bitcoin not looking good. Now we're chilling back in the hood. Man, all right, let's check out how's the dollar doing. That's gonna give us our decision. Okay, dollar's pumping again, guys. Let's check out the dollar quick. All right. Check out the dollar quick. Look at this, wow. All right, so the dollar bounced from our support that we were looking at, so that's no surprise. Dollar also bounced from the golden pocket, wow. All right, let's check out the ES. Oh, ES came to the top of the range and got a rejection just like what we were looking at. So it looks like the dollar and the S&P 500 ranges are much smaller than the Bitcoin range. All right, Bitcoin's coming to VWAP again, chopping around the VWAP. Let's take a look at the order book here and see what we got going on. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, this whole entire move, decrease of open interest, so we don't have any real money coming in here. We had a lot of longs opening up here, and then pretty much they all closed down, right? Not all, but most longs closed out. A few guys opened from the low, like your boy. But yeah, let's see what happens as we try and hold this VWAP. We're getting a little bit of a bounce from the VWAP, baby. All right, a little bit of a VWAP bounce, Roni. All right. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, Bitcoin, come on. Shout out to Rooster submitting applications to our local McDonald's as we speak. Man. All right, guys. Well, you know, it's been a good stream, but I gotta head out, all right? I gotta head out. I got some stuff to do. Got a newborn baby in the house and all that, right? Guys, I don't take myself seriously at all, but I do take my walk with the Lord, my relationship with Jesus extremely seriously, because that is the only thing in life that can give you eternal hope. It's the only thing is Jesus that can give you eternal hope. And I know not everyone believes that. That's fine. But Jesus absolutely changed my life, so I have to talk about it. Just knowing that even though man is in a sinful, fallen state, but God himself cared about us so much that he took on flesh. And he came and he died to pay for the things that we have done wrong. And he rose again on the third day to vindicate himself that he is indeed the Savior and God. And now if we put our trust in him, he will fill us with his Holy Spirit, cause us to be born again as a new creation. And now we have the hope of a physical bodily resurrection where we can exist in a state that humanity was originally intended to exist in. That's what gets me out of bed every single day, guys. So I do pray that everybody watching and listening is very blessed. In Jesus' name, make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell, and I maybe will see you guys tomorrow. Peace!